think it's a grandchild's duty to see their grandparents? 0207 862 2222, that's the number. Do give me a ring. One of my viewers, Rosemary, called the show recently and told one of my producers that she feels there's an awful lot discussed about grandparents and what they ought to do for their grandchildren, but very little, if anything at all, is ever said about the reverse of that relationship and what grandchildren really might owe their grandparents. So I wanted to discuss this today. Perhaps you feel your grandchildren should only see you if they really want to, if they have a great time with you, or maybe you think actually it is their duty to see you and factor you in to their lives. Lord, this is a big one, isn't it?
It's such an interesting one, and I had my own views on it, which were, gosh, you can't force two people together who don't want to be together. That's just awful. But I thought, I'll ask my daughter, what do you think about this? She's 18, and I tell you what, the answer was not what I expected at all.
What did she say?
She said, absolutely, yes. So we chat a lot around the dinner table. That's where we sort of do our family sort of discussions. And what I found really interesting was she said, if it was up to me to go, I wouldn't go. But because we get together as a family, I hear all Nan and Grandad's stories. I hear what they're up to. I find them really funny. And then she reminded me of when Nan and Grandad have dropped me to school when I was little. Like I say, she's an older teen now. Grandad Jack would always play Friends in Low Places by Garth Brooks, and we'd have the music on full. And she said, and I feel so happy when I hear that song now. And if I wasn't not made, but in a way, to spend time with my grandparents, I wouldn't have that, and I wouldn't have these loving feelings towards them. And I text them now and see what they're up to. So yes, I think you should make grandkids go, which was not what I thought a grandchild would say at all.
What about you? What do you think?
Well, I mean, forget presidents and pop stars. To me, give me 2 hours with anyone in their 70s and 80s, and I'm like a sponge, desperate to soak up the elixir of wisdom, coping mechanisms, resilience, and that's how I see...
I'll introduce you to my dad.
I love that. That's how I see grandparents and their importance, especially to the younger generation. I think they are treasure chests and gifts, and even if you don't get on with your parents, you should absolutely nourish the relationship between your children and your parents to have that independent love connection. And the time with our elderly is so precious because it's so fleeting. I mean, my mum and dad have a WhatsApp group just with the grandchildren. I don't know what they talk about, where they're going, and I love it for them. And I think it's really unfair to deny there being any chance of grandchildren getting to know their grandparents because they are a gift. Hold on to them. Even if they're not the best company, it is duty of care for our elderly anyway to teach the children this is how you look after the vulnerable people in our family so they get the same treatment from their children and their grandchildren. So don't break the chain. Keep the connection going.
How about you, Marvyn? What do you think?
I feel like the first 12 years or so of a child's life, it is the grandparents' role to kind of create the relationship. Then there needs to be this sort of handing over that happens still in the teens where you kind of build a rapport, a relationship. And that happens almost, a version of that happens in parenting anyway, but I think that needs to change in the teens and a little bit later on. But if I was to advise any young person, I think, as you said, that they are a wealth of information and experience. And even sometimes if grandparents weren't great parents, but they will be better grandparents than they were parents. And so creating that relationship is so important. I think for whenever there is problematic grandparents, though, this is where the problem lies, is where not all grandparents are equal in the eyes.
Grandparents are angels.
Yes, and so
let's face it.
that's when the concern kicks in, where they start going over the parent's head and feel like they know better than the parents do. And, every parent has a vision for how they want to raise their children. And if, a very strong influence is
someone asked
countering
me,
that,
because I want to talk about my grandchildren.
Ask me about this is my favourite thing.
Tell us, do they have a duty to you,
What do I
Vanessa?
think? Well, this is what I really think. I don't ever want them to feel, not even for 1 second, that seeing me is a duty. I don't want them to feel that. I want them to feel the exact opposite. I want them to feel that seeing me, staying with me, hanging out with me is a pleasure. And so I try to be a sort of fairy grandmother, bestowing delightful things and having wonderful outings and fun. And, I try to be the source of that sort of stuff. So they're clamouring to see me and falling over themselves to come for a sleepover rather than being told, God, you must go and see Grandma Vanessa now, and they have to march in miserably,
Sad, yes.
beautifully, just to make sure the duty of care that I'm still alive. I don't want that. I want them to think it's an absolute picnic hanging out with me. So I almost always make it into an actual picnic. And we once had an actual party on a traffic flyover because they kept on saying, why don't we ever go? I said, okay, right, we'll have a party up there. And what I'm trying to do, I think, is make memories that are really good fun, so that when they ever think about me, and I hope to God they will think about me, I'm going to leave an indelible impression on all their life so they can't stop thinking about me all the time. But when they do that, it's a good thought. It's a good, lively, fun, loving, unusual thought. That's why I'm kind of hoping, as I inscribe copies of my autobiography with instructions about exactly how they should live every minute of their lives, thinking of me at all times. No, I'm only kidding. But I really want them to want to come. That's my main feeling.
And I think, you kind of summed it up so well there, that yes, we have so much wisdom to impart, if you like, as grandparents. And I'm not one yet, but by the time you become grandparents, and you have a little bit more time. But our best conversations are had sideways. They're not had face to face, where they can feel a little bit lectury, and now I'm going to pass on my wisdom. So if you're doing it through fun and through play,
an ounce of wisdom, I'm not passing on. I'm just trying to have a bluff. I had AJ for a sleepover, AJ 6, on Friday night. We had a midnight feast at about 8:30 in the evening.
Can I come and stay?
Watched
This
Cheaper
sounds
by the
great.
Dozen 1 and 2,
Oh,
both
that's fun.
films.
Yeah.
We had a midnight ramble. We had a right laugh.
That is literally the best. When I hear that's what I always saw my grandparents as.
Yeah.
It was great food, it was great memories, and just laughing and being silly.
Exactly.
And that's what grandparents should be for.
That's what I was hoping to do. That's what I really
Big
want to do,
tick,
because I
yes.
really just love hanging out with them. So I want them to be there the whole time, really. Let's have a word with Maureen in West Yorkshire. Tell me, Maureen, what's going on with you and your grandchildren?
Well, I have 5 grandchildren, 3 granddaughters and 2 grandsons. And my youngest granddaughter, she FaceTimes me every single night. And it's a case of, are you okay, Grandma? Have you had your tea? What have you had? What have you done today? My other 2 granddaughters, they live in York.
Yeah.
And they're a lot older than Sophia, but they FaceTime me, and one of my grandsons lives in America,
Right.
and he FaceTimes me once a month, and tells me I've not got to die.
Yeah, when mine say that to me, I don't know what you reply, Maureen, but I say I'm not intending to. I'm hoping not to, for God's sake. What do you say?
My reply to Josh, I say to him, well, Josh, that's out of my hands.
I said, well, I'm not.
Sorry for interrupting.
No problem.
My grandson in America, he tells me, Grandma, you're a national treasure.
Oh, you've obviously done it all right, Maureen. They obviously really love you. How old is your youngest granddaughter who FaceTimes you every...
16.
Oh, how sweet. That's
that's
lovely.
Just going through all her exams.
Yes.
Getting ready for college, hopefully.
It is lovely to hear from you, Maureen. Thank you so much. I mean, that's a lovely relationship where they really do want to talk to her, and they do care about her, and they don't want her to die.
How lovely that technology means that you can FaceTime like that.
Tremendous.
It's
Let's talk to
wonderful.
Brenda in Coventry. Hi, Brenda. What do you think? Is it the grandchildren's duty to see the grandparents?
Definitely not. I'd feel really sad for a grandparent that would feel that their children's children come to see them just as a matter of duty. My sons, with their grandmother, used to go and visit her in the home. It was her choice to go in the home. They'd go all hours. Luckily, the staff were fine, but they passed it on to their children. And now the grandchildren are coming to see me, and certainly not for my cooking. I'm not very good at all. And what have you. I'm presuming it's the ambience. I can't think of anything else.
But tell me about the ambience. When they come, Brenda, what is the ambience? What sort of stuff do you get up to with them when they come?
If it's nice hot weather, I put an airbed out and we all sleep in the garden and look at the stars.
See, fun grandma.
That's what I'm saying. This is lovely.
Yeah, I think we'd all fancy coming. It sounds like a right laugh at your house, Brenda. A riot, in fact. It puts the airbed out. They walk on. Absolute bliss. Thank you. What a great call. Lovely to hear from you. Let's talk to Leslie in Dorset. Leslie, your grandkids don't have to be persuaded to visit you, do they? Leslie, hello.
Hello.
Where is she? She's in Dorset, but is she listening? That's the question.
Hello.
Oh, hi, Leslie. I hear they come because they want to, your grandchildren.
They come because they want to, and I cook for them. So I have 7 grandsons. Unfortunately, one's grown his angel wings, so not with us anymore. The other 6, the youngest 3, come every Monday for dinner, and we chat. And then on Thursday, the oldest 3 come round with their partners and the children, and I cook for them then, and we all chat and have a good time. And then I childcare for their children on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So I think it's a pleasure.
Wow, so you see them practically every day of the week, Leslie. What I really want to know is what is on the menu? What do they have particular requests? Are there things that you cook that they love? What do you make that they love?
Shepherd's pie.
Shepherd's pie.
Roast dinners and pasta bakes and jacket potatoes.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, that's a really properly integrated family where Leslie looks after the children and then they come for dinner. It's all fantastic, isn't it? Perfect. If you're watching and that doesn't happen in your family, you certainly have my sympathy and my empathy, because I know it's not that straightforward in lots of families at the moment.